Hello and welcome to week 2 in Get Fit for Summer programme. My name's Phil. This week hopefully you've had a chance to have a go at week 1's workout, which was endurance. This week is strength, okay? So if you've not done much strength before, we've got quite a few options for you. The circuit is quite simple, but some of the exercises might be quite new, and again I'll give you a couple of options on those. Okay, essentially there's 3 parts to the circuit, and it's up to you whether each part, so each one of those 3 lasts for 5, 8 minutes or 10 minutes. Okay, so we've on the guidelines we've instructed that as 5 minutes for beginners, 8 minutes for intermediate and 10 minutes for advanced. Okay, so the first one has 3 exercises, and within that time frame, so whether it's 5 minutes, 8 minutes or 10 minutes, you're going to keep going through those exercises for that entire duration. Each time you go through the circuit, you're going to add 1 repetition on. So the first time you go through the 3 exercises, you do each one once, second time twice, third time 3 times, and so on until you get to the end of that time limit. Okay, so the very first one is quite straightforward. Okay, it's just a single leg drop. Okay, so make sure on this one, to get it right, keep your heel down, don't go onto your toes. Quite simply, just going to touch the floor on one leg, onto the other leg, and touch the floor. Okay, if that is a little bit tricky, I just want you to touch underneath your knee, again whilst keeping the heel flat. So just touch the front of your shin, and then onto the other side. Okay, so whichever option. The second part to that exercise is a hand walkout. So leaning forward from the hips, place your fingertips on the ground, walk out, lower the hips down, try not to rest the legs on the floor, and then walk back up. Again, if that's a little bit tricky, then go down, place your hands on the floor, and then step your legs out and lower the hips, and then step back in. So each time you come back out, you come up to standing. Okay, and then the third exercise is the family favourite, it's a press up. Okay, so once you've done your hand walkout, hips down, hips back up, and then push up. Okay, if that's a little bit tricky, then keep your knees on the ground, try and keep your hips forward, feet on the floor as well. Lower yourself, and then back up. If it's still that's a little bit tricky, push your hips to be above your knees, and then bring your hands a little bit closer in and just press your chest down to the floor. I'm going to give you a quick run through of that entire sequence so that you understand it. I'll do it to 2 repetitions so that you can see how it works. Okay, so first set, single leg drop down, into a hand walkout, and then a push up, back to standing. This time we're going for 2 repetitions. So alternating at the top. Again, 2 hand walkouts. And do the final exercise on that second part. Okay, so I would continue doing that for 5, 8 or 10 minutes. Okay, that's round 1. You're then going to have between 60 and 120 seconds, so 1 to 2 minutes rest before you start the second sequence. And the second one, which I'll move in a second.
Squat and reach.
Okay, it's the squat to reach. Thank you. At the back. Okay, so quite simply, squat down and then reach overhead. Again, like with the first one, keep your heels nice and flat. Try and touch the floor in between your feet, and then reach overhead. Nice and straightforward. The second part to the exercise is a sprawl. This might be new, so I'll give you a couple of options with this. So a sprawl, hands on the floor again, jump the feet out, again lower the hips, and then jump back in, and come up to standing. If that's a little bit tricky, just take 1 leg out at a time. So again, from a deep position, place your hands on the floor, 1 foot out, the other foot out, lower the hips down, and then step back in. Nice and straightforward. Okay, the third part to that sequence is a prone squat. This might be new to you. So you're already in that sprawl position with your legs and your hands on the floor. Okay, and then from there you're going to simply take your bum close to your heels. So push away from your hands, keep your arms straight, your knees should almost touch the ground, and then come back into that extended leg position. Again, I'll just run through the whole sequence up to 2 repetitions. Okay, so the first part is the squat to reach. Down into the sprawl, and then into the prone squat, and then jump back up. Again, if the jump back up's a little bit hard, go on to 1 foot either side, 2 repetitions through. Again, back to the squat to reach, 2 sprawls, stand up each time, and then 2 prone squats, knees almost touching the ground. Okay, again, we're coming on to the third part now, so you would continue that for 5, 8 or 10 minutes. Last part to the sequence, you're doing really well. Okay, so we're going to start with a reverse lunge. Okay, so just keeping that front foot nice and flat and stepping back up. Okay, nice and straightforward. The second part of the sequence, which Jenny's going to remind me of. Lunge.
Twisty
okay,
sprawl.
so this is a prone cobra. Okay, from a crouching position. So you're going to drop after the lunge into a crouch, hands placed on the floor. Opposite arm and leg are going to reach out and back. Okay, so drop the hip, take the arm up and take a step back, and then exactly the same on the opposite side. That's exercise number 2. The last one, you're already familiar with this because you did it in week 1, it's a hand step up. So you're already in this position with stepping that second leg out, just drop onto the forearms and then come back up to standing. You can do that from your knees, as I mentioned in week 1, if you'd like to. I'll do 2 runs through, up to 2 repetitions, and then I'll leave you to it. Okay, so we're starting with the lunge. Nice and deep, hips push forwards. Coming into that crouched position, hand and foot back, and then stepping back, and then going into the hand step up. Back up to the start, second time round. Last time. Okay, crouched position. And then into those 2 hand step ups. Okay, enjoy.